Hello, everyone, and welcome to our final presentation for College of Ag Week. Today, we are discussing the Masters of Science program in Agricultural Economics, and I'm pleased to be joined today by several representatives of the program. As they're going through their presentation, if you do have questions, please feel free to submit them using the Q&A box or the chat box, and we will handle those at the end. But for now, I think we're ready to get started. And so at this time, we'll just turn it over to our faculty members.
Thank you, Dr. Ekpo, and we're very glad to welcome everyone to this presentation showcasing what we have to offer in the Master of Science in Agricultural Economics. And I am Dr. Edward Osei, one of the faculty members, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Yu to introduce himself as well.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, this is Dr. Mark Yu. I have been here for Tarleton for 24 years. So I have been teaching in marketing, futures, statistics, and prices, and other courses for this program.
We also have Dr. Celine Guni and other adjunct faculty members. We actually have about 5 adjunct faculty members. And then we have Mr. Brown and Ms. Henson, if they'll introduce themselves.
My name is Laura Henson, and I currently serve as a research associate and an adjunct instructor for the Division of Agribusiness. And I have been at Tarleton on the teaching front and research front for about 10 years now.
My name's Mr. Cord Brown, and I'm a new faculty instructor here at Tarleton. I did my undergrad here and my master's here, and then I've transitioned to a new instructor here. This is my first full year.
So we have a pretty good diverse group, and we're very glad to present this program. The Master of Science in Ag Economics is offered within a division of agribusiness and agricultural economics, which is part of a broader department in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources. And our program is one of the fastest growing in the whole college. We have actually, I believe, over 400 students currently in our program. And it's the second, our college is the second largest agricultural college in the state of Texas. And students who come to the Master of Science program actually hail from various countries. We have representation from actually quite a few continents currently pursuing this program. We also have quite a few from the United States. The Master of Science in Ag Economics consists of either 30 or 36 credit hours. The 30 credit hour offering is for the non-thesis option. The 36 credit hour offering is for the thesis option. And for that, we require students to enroll typically in the fall, but you can also enroll in the spring or summer. And the minimum GPA requirement is 2.5, which is very, very easy to meet. And there are no GRE requirements, so you can come in without GRE. And for international students, we require actually the TOEFL. That is a requirement of the graduate college. The one thing about the program is that it's currently offered primarily online. And I'll see if Dr. Yi, you want to offer some more insight on this.
Yes, our program, majority of our students are from, Texas, and we do offer this online program, which is easy for them to join. But we started to add more face-to-face. So we do have another concentration which will allow international students to be here. Actually, currently we have 3 international students over here work as our graduate with our graduate assistantship.
So due to that, we offer face-to-face classes. We actually offer almost every class face-to-face as well as online to accommodate international students as well as those who want to take it in person, even though they are American citizens. So the thesis concentration is geared more towards students who want to pursue further study. typically a PhD. And that requires 36 credits. Mostly 30 hours of coursework and then 6 hours of thesis credits. The non-thesis is geared towards those who want to go to business, and that requires 30 credit hours, including a capstone course. And what you see on the screen right now is actually a listing of the courses that we offer by semester and by year of program. And so I'm not gonna read through the list, but some of the key courses include the environmental policy, farm and ranch management, ag marketing, and econometrics and so forth. All these are courses that are prescribed for the program for the thesis option.
And if I could mention just briefly, you'll see that AGEC 5333 for summer. That's our agribusiness tour class. It's a really unique class that we offer as part of the program. It's a week-long tour across Texas for our students to have the opportunity to visit Texas agribusinesses firsthand and get to learn firsthand from those businesses how they're running their operations and how they might go about running their own businesses someday. So it's just a really unique opportunity that we offer our graduate and undergraduate students, and a course that most students walk away having loved the experience of.
Thank you very much, Laura. That's a very important course, and it's offered both for thesis and non-thesis students.
Yes.
The non-thesis option includes a capstone course. It's a very distinct option that allows students to practice delivery of content based upon their internship or work experience, and also some of their course instruction. And so, Dr. Ye, do you want to comment on the non-thesis option?
Most of these courses are offered online, but in order to meet the international student need, for some of those courses, we do offer face-to-face options, so the student can meet the international student requirement for 6 hours face-to-face per semester. And I also want to mention, if you do want to apply for assistantship, so if you do get that, you have to choose the thesis option.
That's a good point. Thank you, Dr. Yu. And I want to also say that our courses are geared towards enriching the careers of our students. We have a very good track record of our students getting jobs right after graduation. And so that's the purpose of this course design. So, Dr. Yi, you want to start off? We obviously are very excited about a research program, and maybe Dr. Yi will talk a little bit about his aspect, and then we'll fill in others.
Yes, so our research is growing. So we have several research grants, which Dr. Osak can give us more detailed information in a few minutes. But the last couple of years, we started to offer more and more research assistantship for our students. So we will strongly encourage our international student or domestic student to apply for those. For my research, I'm kind of focused on precision farming, marketing, and the production economics, those areas.
We also have research in natural resource and environmental economics, climate smart economics. That has become a hot issue. We have about 3 projects on climate smart economics alone. And these are very large projects. And then we have other projects on competitiveness of farm, dairy and beef operations. We also do work on health economics, energy economics, and other topics. Dr. Guni, also one of our adjunct faculty, is involved in a lot of time series econometrics work. We also have other faculty and postdoctoral research members who also contribute strongly to our research program. And going back to what Dr. Yu mentioned, because of the number of research funds we've had, we've been able to offer a number of research assistantships in the recent times, and we currently have 3 filled positions. And we actually typically have additional, those are three field funded positions, and then we also have additional departmental funded positions. So the assistantships require you to work 20 hours a week. And because of the commitment to do the research, we require students to do the thesis option instead of the non-thesis option. And the decisions on assistantships are made basically every semester based on availability of funding. So we encourage all students who are interested to submit just an email indicating their interest in the assistantship to any of us, preferably Dr. Yu. And then we'll evaluate those and then communicate to them, hopefully before they start their program. The assistantships offer very, very good rates. I think we're actually offering a little bit higher than other programs on campus and many institutions. So it's very competitive because the rate is higher than other places. And they're typically, we expect students to complete the master's in 2 years, roughly. So the assistantships will cover the full 2-year program, including the summer. We currently have these listed here, Mr. Bimbo Johnson, Mr. Talukda, and then Ms. Patak as our graduate research assistants. I don't think we have any of them online to speak at the moment, but they are very excited about the work they're doing. I know Mr. Bimbo Johnson is doing some work on time series econometrics, as well as heat stress on dairy production. And Dr. You can tell a little bit more about what the other two are doing.
They are doing their research on different topics, and since all of them have been here for about a year, I think they are working aggressively on all these research projects. And I have to mention for our graduate assistants, last 2 years, I will look at them, they present at least 6 papers in different professional conferences, not including the internal university one, I mean outside the professional conference. They have published 2 papers in last year.
That's good. So we obviously expect a lot from our students, just as much as we expect from ourselves. And it's obviously a privilege to share all these with you. And I think, Dr. You do have a comment.
And one thing I want to mention, our master program is relatively new. We started in January 2023. And we used to offer under the Master of Agriculture, so we changed that to become an independent program in last year. So we have seen students growing a lot. As I checked that number yesterday, we already have 21 grad students currently in MS in Ag Econ this right now. So we are growing. And also, last thing I want to mention, I want to thank you, Dr. Ashley Lovell, who has been our senior faculty who worked for this program for more than 40 years. And last year he led our discussing, so he just retired in August. But he's still very active involved in our program and also serving the graduate committees.
And yeah, thank you, Dr. Yi. That's very nice. I just want to close also with want to offer first Ms. Hanson to make some final comments, if that's okay, and then also Mr. Brown. But yes, Dr. Lovell will likely return as emeritus professor, so he's not completely out of contact with us. But we are very, very blessed. This is a very research enriched department. And so we welcome anyone that wants to do high-level research. We're very excited to welcome them to be part of our team. Ms. Hanson, do you have any comments? We didn't let you offer insight.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to plug my class there for a second. This program is really growing. We've got a lot of great students and are able to provide a lot of opportunities, maybe that you might not get in some of the other master's programs. So if you do have a research interest, not only are you going to get the opportunity for that, but we really have the experienced faculty to back up those research interests and to help you be successful in your projects. As a new PhD student myself, I'm very thankful for Dr. Ose and Dr. Yu's guidance up until this point, and they do that very, very well for our master's students. So not only are you going to be able to get those opportunities, but you're going to get the support that you need to really be successful in them.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, I kind of want to mirror some of the same things she said. I think it's a great program. Since it's kind of small and there's not a ton of open, or there's a ton of not a ton of graduate assistantships open like other programs. You kind of get the hands-on, uh, kind of good for relationship with your professors to kind of sit down and actually take the time and through the research and kind of talk through implications that you might have, or a lot of questions that you come across that sometimes maybe it takes forever to hear back from somebody. I know that Dr. Yu, Dr. Ose, and Dr. Gooney were really helpful within my research, and I really appreciate their help for that, and as well as just getting close with the other grad students, because we could help each other out when we needed. If the professors weren't around, and we could ask them questions, because usually they're doing other similar things, or maybe they're doing some other stuff that could be implemented in your research. So I just think it's a great program, and I would tell anybody that wanted to do it, I would say I would jump at the chance, honestly.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And so our contact information that for Dr. Yu is available as well. If there are any questions you can't think of it right now, you can always send an email or give us a phone call, and we'd be more than happy to assist.
Fantastic. This has been so informative, and I appreciate all of your time. For our live audience members, if you do have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and submit those using the Q&A box or the chat box, and we'll get those handled. In the meantime, I did have a few questions of my own. So I first wanted to ask, what type of academic background would you recommend people have coming into this program? Can they come from any major, or should it be in a certain area?
Thank you. So we admit students from any majors. Um, but obviously, the more mathematically prepared they are, the easier things will be for them.
Okay.
I always tell students math is the language of economics, just like when you go to China, you speak Chinese. Um, and so when you do economics, it's nice to know a little bit more math. It's
Okay.
not daunting, but it's helpful.
Makes sense. Very good. And I don't know if we mentioned this specifically. You talked about the program being a fully online program, but for the courses that happen in person, where exactly is that happening? Because Tarleton has several uh, campuses
Services.
in addition to the online campus.
Right. So most of the courses are offered here in the Steubenville campus, but we also offer courses by Zoom. And so they don't have to actually come here in person to take face-to-face courses. Um,
Mm,
and so even some of the international students, if they are not here in person, we are able to offer coded in such a way they can join by Zoom, and that can qualify. And
interesting.
yes, so the thesis course also is coded as face-to-face. So that also helps international students that need a face-to-face credit in some of the semesters. But yeah, so the program is primarily, but not solely online.
Okay. And so for some people, they really don't have no concept of what it would mean to be a student online, particularly at the graduate school level. So can you talk a little bit about how the program is executed online? Tarleton does use Canvas as our learning management system, but talk a little bit about what actually happens.
Thank you. So online programs mean you don't have to be in a specific place at a specific time to receive instruction. And so typically, as Dr. Ekpo, you were saying, we have Canvas as our LMS, management system. So students have access to Canvas. All the files and materials that the professors provide are available through the Canvas portal. And so students access that. They are provided even sometimes recorded lectures that they can view online at their own convenience. And then they can also ask questions and the professors will respond. So all that is asynchronous. So it basically is at the convenience of the student as well as a faculty member. And so this is so convenient for students who are in business. We have a lot of master students who are working in corporate America. We've had some at HEB and Walmart and different major companies who are, and some even overseas who join us. We had some students from Japan and other countries who completed the program without ever setting foot in the United States. And so it's very convenient to reach all quarters of the globe.
Wonderful. Well, can you talk a little bit about your success stories? Where are you seeing people take this degree? How are they able to leverage it to advance themselves in their careers? What types of things are they doing with this credential?
Tia, do you want to offer any input on that? And then,
Our students are coming from all different backgrounds and then from different regions. And if you are talking about a lot of these online students right now from Texas, some of them, like the two I talked yesterday, they are in my capstone class. Both of them are ag teachers, so they want to do some business in the business field. And a couple of weeks ago, I talked to another student who is working on an agribusiness, big agribusiness firm. So I think our students are some agriculture related businesses or maybe ag extension, education, or kind of in those area. Or
yes,
Thank you.
and yes, thank you. And we have a lot of success stories. We have some students. I know we had one that worked at the HEB Central Market. I believe that's the main. And we've had some at various companies that have done extremely well. We've also had some of our students that have gone on to advance other degrees. And we've had some that have gone on to, the doctoral program as well, and so forth. So there's a lot of success stories, and we have some famous students that are also, in fact, some of the students from the past are now teaching for us and head up some ag credit companies as well.
Exciting. So, Doctor, you had mentioned the capstone. Can you talk more about what is involved with that?
yeah, capstone classes help students prepare for their career, especially for the students in either thesis or non-thesis option the last semester. For non-thesis, we normally require them to choose an internship or something related to their future jobs. So they will work for 200 hours and then they will come back and present their actual experience in their field and then to the committee. So in order to meet the requirement, I think that's really a good course. We heard back. And then because this will give or even push the student to go to the real world to get some real world experience.
Very nice. Well, I always get asked a lot about assistantships, and you mentioned that those are determined on a semester by semester basis. What are some things people might be able to do to make themselves more competitive for that? What are you looking for? You mentioned that if someone's interested, they should just send an email and say, I'd like to be considered. But what information are you reviewing and using to help you decide who will get those coveted positions?
Yes, thank you. We certainly look at their transcripts to see their preparedness for the program. And it's not selfish on our part, but we obviously pick students that have the highest scores. And we don't require the GRE, but if they take the GRE and they offer their score and it shows up to be very high, that's also a plus. Any academic credentials that indicate they are above average or exceptional definitely helps. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of what we look at. We also look at the research interests. If it's within the project area, that's also something of interest. And if they have published papers, that is another plus. Um, Dr. Yu, am I missing something?
And if needed, I think we also plan to conduct interviews for possible students in the future. So that's another thing we may do after we look their transcript and the research interests and then their research background. So we may possibly do an interview in the future.
So is it typical that if someone's chosen as an assistant uh, one term that they'll be able to continue with that for the rest of their tenure as a student, or can it drop in and out based on how competitive the pool is?
So we don't drop it based on the pool unless there is an obvious performance issue. The graduate college requires certain GPA standard for graduate assistants,
Mm.
and obviously we require them to do the work. If we haven't had this happen ever, so hopefully it never will.
Yeah.
But the only situation where we may drop them out is if something is, uncalled for in their performance.
Hmm. I found it so interesting when you mentioned that all assistants are required to be on the thesis track. Can you explain the rationale for that?
So it enables them to really do research. This was actually something that we learned from the Ag and Consumer Sciences Department, our parents department, before its name was changed to Ag Education and Communication. And we decided to require that as a department. And so our division of agribusiness and ag economics took that over as well. It enables students to take research more seriously because most of the assistantships are based on research duties. And so having them do a thesis enables them to also benefit from the research duties they are performing.
Yes. Well, you mentioned this is a relatively new grad program, having been a concentration within the agricultural and consumer resources program, and you're growing leaps and bounds, including having lots of international students. Where are some of the countries represented in your program?
So we have students from Bangladesh, from Ghana, and those are two of them. And I'm
From
trying to think.
India.
India,
India, thank you.
yeah,
And there's several others, but so word gets around, and we're blessed to have a number of research funding opportunities. And so somehow word got around that this was happening at Tarleton, and so they started applying. We get emails left and right, and
Yes,
that's great. That's
it
great.
is.
So
It is. Well, I don't see any questions from the live audience, but I want to end with Cord. Cord is an alum of this program, and he was among the first to actually uh, receive the master's in ag economics. I want to know what his experience was as a student, and how has his transition to instructor been? What is it like being on the other side of the table?
So thank you for that. I've loved it so far. I really enjoyed my time here at Tarleton. I thought it was great. I always loved working with the professors. I started out as a student worker back in 2020, and I've been with them for a while now. And then I transitioned into the grad assistant, the teaching GA, because we have a couple different kinds. We have the teaching assistants and then the research associates. And so I went as the teaching one, and I loved it. So I kind of started out kind of helping with Dr. Hughes Labs, and then eventually transitioned into teaching the freshman micro computer class. And then I went into teaching the freshman introductory ag eco classes, which I'm still teaching today, and I still teach the computer class as well. But I got to branch out this semester and start teaching a senior level course, and that's been a really neat, challenging learning opportunity. It's been great. I really think that the program did prepare me for it. I I really did like it. So, like I said earlier, if anybody was just on the fence about it, I would just tell them to go ahead and do it. I think that it definitely has been a great experience, and I would recommend to anybody. So.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad you had a great experience, and congratulations on making the leap to the faculty side. I'm glad you mentioned teaching assistants versus research assistants, because there are obvious differences in duty. So if someone is interested, should they specify that they have a preference for one or the other, or are they able to be considered for both?
Right, they could specify their preference, but we typically look at the credentials and decide who's best to be a teaching assistant versus research.
Okay. Very good. Well, this has been very enlightening, and I appreciate all of your time. For the live audience, I just want to remind you that this recording will be available to review on demand in the College of Graduate Studies YouTube channel. So please feel free to go back and refer to it as needed. And if you know of others who would be interested in this content, we would certainly love for you to share this with them as well. So thanks again to our faculty for such a great presentation. And I think at this time we can end our webinar, but we appreciate all of you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.